All right, so we are going to talk about graphing our solutions to our inequalities. And so let's look at how we would graph x. X is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so on a number line, if it's equal to, we can include that value. So it's equal to 2 and it's everything greater than 2. So here's what I would like for you to do to show that solution. Greater than, wherever we are, here we're starting with 2. So equal to 2 means I'm going to put a point at 2. So 2 is part of my solution. And which numbers around 2 are greater than 2? 3, 4, and 5. So I want to include all those. So I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to show that my solution is 2 and values greater than 2. I like to go above a little bit because sometimes it's difficult to see on the number line what you're putting with pencil when you've drawn the number line with pencil. So that's why I like to go above a little bit there. Okay, so or another way to do that would be you could be at 2 here and then draw that, but I don't like necessarily that either. So let's do it this way. So how can you remember which direction you need to go to? You start with the value that's given here as either part of our solution or close to our solution, and then pick a number on both sides. Which of those is falls into this inequality of being greater than or equal to 2? 3 does, so I know my solution is that direction. Okay, so let's do another one. Let's talk about if we want to look at the values of x that are greater than 2, not equal to 2, just greater than 2. So draw another number line. Okay, so greater than 2, 2 is not part of our solution. So what's the next number right after 2? That's the next whole number. What's the next, between 2 and 3, what's the next highest number after 2? 2.5. What about 2.1? What about 2.01? Or 2.001? Or 2.00000000001. Can we actually come up with the first number that's right after 2? Can you state it? No. So because we can't do that, it's not possible. You would be saying zeros, 2.0 for the rest of your life. We have to note it this way. We know that 2 is not part of our solution, so we put an open circle at 2. But it starts right after 2. We can't identify or show a point on the number line that specifies that because we don't know if I just put a point here, I don't know if that's point 2.4, 2 point whatever it is. We don't know. So we have to start with 2. It's not equal to, we put an open circle there, but it's everything greater than 2. So again, of 1 and 3, which of those values is greater than 2? 3. So I'm going to go everything to the right of 2. So the difference between those two graphs, we have a filled in circle at 2 here on the top graph. Right here, that's because it is equal to 2. We don't have a filled in circle, we have an open circle at 2 here because it's only greater than, it's not equal to 2. Okay, so now we are going to work out an equation or inequality and then graph the solution set. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to solve for x in this inequality, and then we're going to graph the solution set. So we'll be stating our answer in two ways, as an inequality and as a graph. All right, so on the left side, I have some like terms that I can put together. So I've got the 6x and the 6x. 6x plus 6x is 12x. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify that and write 12x plus 2 is less than 14. So on the left, I've combined everything that I can. X is on the left, so I'm going to leave it there. I need to move my constant term 2 to the right. It's being added right now, so the inverse of adding is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And I get 12x is less than 12. And then to get the 12 off of that 12x away from that, it's 12 times x, so we want to divide both sides. So that becomes 1x on the left. And I'm going to state my answer over here. X is less than 1. I'm going to do a mental check of a value greater than or less than 1, so I'm going to use 0 and plug it in for x up here. 6 times 0 is 0, and same thing here. So I'm going to get 0 on both of those spots, and then so I just have 2 on the left. Is 2 less than 14? It is, so I'm thinking that my work is correct here for x being less than 1. All right, so now I go to my number line. And your number lines will already be there, so you won't have to do this today on today's lesson. So I'm going to go to my number line, and will it be an open or a filled in circle, Josiah? Open or filled in at 1? Because it's not equal to, right? So we're going to go to 1, fill in that, or open that circle there at 1. And we want values of x less than 1. And remember, I mentally plugged in 0, and it worked. So I know that these are values that are less than 1, and that's the solution to that inequality and the graph of the solution. Okay, so new equation or new inequality. First step is going to be to distribute, to get rid of the parentheses on the left. So I'm going to multiply both 6 and 3r times 5. So 5 times 6 is 30. And then 5 times 3 is 15r. And r is on the left side, so I'm going to leave it there. So I need to move the 30, the constant term, to the right. So I'm going to subtract 30. So on the left, I have 15r. On the right, what's 127 minus 30? 97, I believe. And then to solve for r, I'm going to divide both sides by 15. Now I'm dividing by a positive 15, so I do not need to change the direction of the inequality. It's going to stay that direction. So when I divide by 15, somebody help me out. 97 divided, is it evenly 6.46? Okay, so can you change that to a fraction? 97 over 15. Okay. Okay, so we changed 97 over 15 to 6 7/15. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's in between 6 and 7, almost halfway in between, little short, little less than halfway. So I'm going to put a mark right here. And then am I going to have an open or filled in circle at that mark for 6 and 7/15? Happy. Filled in because it's equal to, because it can equal that. So I'm going to have a filled in circle there. Numbers greater than 6 and 7/15. 6 or 7, which one's greater than 6 and 7/15? Number 7. So we're going to go to the right. And I could put a value of 7 here. That would give me 21 plus 6 would be 27 times 5 is greater than 127. Okay, let's do one more. All right, next and last one for today, we are going to solve this inequality and graph it. I need to distribute, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to actually distribute a -6 through to each of those in the parentheses. I'm going to bring down the -3 first, because that does not change. Now I'm going to take a -6 times 4, that's a -24x. And then a -6 times a +6 is a -36. And all of that is greater than a -111. On the left, I have like terms. I have a -3 and a -36. That's a total of a -39. So I'm going to put my 24x first. -24x minus 39 is greater than a -111. Now it's a two-step inequality. Move the constant over, move the -39 over. To do that, we've got to add 39 to both sides. And on the left, I get a -24x, and I don't want to do that. Thank you. On the right, I get -72. And now I'm going to divide by -24 to get x by itself. And because I'm dividing by a negative, I change the direction of my inequality. So rather than greater than, x is going to be less than, I'm going to guess 3. Is that right? Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to pick a number less than 3, and I'm going to use 0 because that's an easy one. So I'm going to do a mental check real quick. 4 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36, but I'm going to subtract that from a -3. So a -3 minus 36 is a -39. Is that greater than a -111? It is. So I know that 0 is part of my solution. And I believe I did my work correctly. So I'm going to put 0 here. There's 3. There's -3. And will I have an open or closed circle? Gabby says, what? Open. Yes, at 3. So let me get my other color. Open at 3. And left or right, Gabby? Left, because those are values that are less than 3. So I'm going to want to see this. I'm not going to require you to show me a check, but you had better mentally check your work. And then I'm going to want to see the graph. Actually, the graph's going to be provided for you. You just have to finish it. Okay, it'll have the numbers and everything for you. All right, so I'm going to put your assignment down below. And this is a new worksheet.